Well, how you doing today? Whoops, I got some music coming in the background. So, if you are ready to supercharge your 2023, you are in the right place. For those of you that don't know me, I'm Elizabeth Morosco. I've worked in events and marketing for over 20 years. I've owned my own agency for 17. So, I've gone through so many shifts on how marketing works to be able to promote products, services, and goods like what you have. So today we're going to dig in and share some awesome golden nuggets to help you make this upcoming year absolutely amazing, even regardless of everything that's happening with inflation, dread of the economy. We're going to address all of that and so much more. But hey, if you are here with me live, drop me a hello live. Let me know that you're here with me. And I see one of my favorite fellow streamers, Matt. How you doing today? You get the DJ horn. It's always so good to see you. And it's one of those journeys I know that you have been on. If you guys aren't following Matt, go follow his profile and check out the multiple channels he has. He's always inspiring and never a dull moment with anything he's doing. So today is going to be focused on you, your goals, your dreams, but moving beyond dreaming about it and actually start doing it. One of the things that can happen often is we can come up with these grandiose ideas, daydream, have a little dream, but we don't do anything with it. And I don't want that for you. For 2023, I want you to be able to embrace all the gifts that you have and to be able to go full-fledged into this new year with great hopes, but also the right tools and skills to help you along the way. So if that sounds like something that you're interested, say, I want to know more. Let me know that you want to know more. But we actually have a lot of content that we are going to share in a really short amount of time. I want to let you know that this video will be available on replay for about a week. Next Tuesday, we're going to take it down. So if you miss something, you want to come back and watch it, come on down. If you get interrupted, that's all right. But we're going to do the first part of the training live here in the group and on YouTube. But the second part is going to be in our private Zoom group, which is for our VIPs who will get even more juicy nuggets and tools to help along the way. So if by chance you did not register and you want to upgrade to VIP to get some of the tools and the hands-on look at your personal business, you still can go register right now, elizabethmorosco.com/mastermind. Now let's go create some awesome things today. Does that sound good? All right, we're going to dig in. So this is the thing. Oftentimes when it comes to a business plan, people get afraid of it because number one, you're doing a lot of thinking, a lot of planning, and sometimes it's easier to just carry on with a narrative in our head of what we're going to do, but not really have it down on paper. And as you grow your business, you're going to find out that's disastrous. There's a lot of little different components that can help feed either your failure or your success. So taking the time to do what we're going to do today is going to be a powerhouse move. And I hope that you start doing it every single year, more like in the November timeframe, mapping it out and going back and looking regularly at what you've planned or what your vision started as. Because guess what? In life, things happen. And you have to shift and adjust. So you've got to constantly go back and look at this plan. But I want you to not be afraid of it. I want you to feel like you can embrace this opportunity and really lean into the success. Now, this is the thing. This is what most people think it looks like. And it's kind of a version of it where you set a goal, you make a plan, you get to work, you stick to it, you reach your goal. But the problem is in between all these little Post-it notes, those things called life happens, whether it's hiccups with our product, goods, and service, something that happens in our personal life, some unexpected catastrophe that we have to deal with because we don't have any choice. And by having this plan, it's going to allow you to get back on track because ultimately, this is what it comes down to right here, you guys. Right here, wrong way. Your daily routine is what matters. So you can have all of these great ideas about growing your business, but check this out. If you don't have the routine in place, you don't have the vision in place, one little disruption is going to throw everything off course. But to be able to do what we're going to do today, you've got to get to this comfort zone of being okay, being outside of your comfort zone. So I want you to do something that's going to seem like a goofy little exercise, but really quick with me. Just take your hands and really, really quick go 1, 2, 3 and grasp your hands together. Can you do that for me? All right. When you look down, where is your thumb? Like in my case, my right thumb landed over. Okay. Now, I want you to do this thing again where you go 1, 2, 3, but this time I want you to put the opposite thumb on top. You ready? 1, 2, 3. It might take a minute, right? Because we have our muscle memory tied into simple things that we do, even grasping our hands together. So doing different things is going to make you feel uncomfortable at first. And you've got to get to that place that you're okay, maybe being a little uncomfortable, maybe doing things a little bit differently. But as you start to go through these steps in your daily routine of your business, when you get that uncomfortable feeling, I want you to remember, oh yeah, kind of like when I had to change the position of how I grabbed my hands. I interlock my fingers this way, but as by default, I need to shift it. And the same thing with your business. Sometimes it's little teeny tiny shifts that can make a difference, but you may feel uncomfortable while you're doing it. And that's okay. That's the magic of being able to go to these next levels. Because if you keep doing exactly what you're doing and you want to grow, but you're stuck, guess what? That's the definition of insanity. You can't keep doing the same thing and expect a different result. So let's dig into a little bit of that today and start to embrace how can we take these comfort zones and level it up to grow our business. And the big thing is at first what you have to do, you've got to start. You've got to start visualizing what your goals are and starting to contemplate different paths that you can take to be able to get there. And one of the beautiful things about having a plan is when these interruptions called life happen, you're going to know immediately what you have to do so that you can get back on task. But if you don't have that roadmap that's going to show where you're at and where you're going, when an interruption happens and you find a great big, cut out in the road that you can't take, you can get distracted and stuck there. And that's not what we want for 2023. We need full speed momentum moving forward. And one of the things that we're going to talk about today that can help you when these interruptions happen is having systems in place, having all of the right key components so that you can get back on track and not get stuck into that ditch that you just can't get out of. But regardless of any tools that I give you, any golden nuggets that I share, anything that's of real value, if you don't stay focused on your goal, you're not going to get there. And one of the key things, and I think all of us know this if we really reflect down all the way from childhood, who you surround yourself with, it's important. There's going to be times that you're going to be on this entrepreneurial journey and maybe, just maybe, you don't know if you can make it through. Do you have people in your corner that are cheering you on? Or do you have people that are saying, this is a waste of time? You should be doing this, their version of what their goal is, versus you focusing on your goal. So you got to know your goal. You got to surround yourself with the right people. That could be friends and family of influence. It could even be support staff, online colleagues. I've been really fortunate. In fact, it was funny because Matt showed up here a minute ago, and I would call him an online colleague. I've learned a lot from Matt. And I know Matt gets it because he's got like 4 different projects that he's working on. And he's going to understand struggles that I'm facing as an online entrepreneur, unlike somebody that has no clue and they think that this is a waste of space, right? So having the right people and your goals and the right tools are going to be absolutely key. And in a second here, I want to share with you a little bit about my background. And then somebody wrote, where's my fellow VIPs? They're in here. They're in here. And then after we're finished with the session, the VIPs will come back. We get another hour, hour and a half on a private Zoom session. So that's going to be a lot of fun. I've got some awesome stuff planned for you guys too. So there's no growth in the comfort zone and no comfort in the growth zone. I don't know who me is. I'll have to pull up my Facebook, but if you do click on that link in the comment, eCam will be able to see your profile picture and name. It's just something we've got to do through Facebook rules. So anyhow, and Chef Leroy, so good to see you. You got your internet connection. He's out in the middle of nowhere. He's going to have to get that. What's that satellite that Elon Musk has? I forget. Starlink? Something like that. I don't know. And Miss Jacqueline, the fabulous Jacqueline from New Zealand. Always good to see you. We appreciate your energy. So Chef Leroy, good seeing you here. And it's always a delight to have our favorite live streamer, Matt, in the house. Pun fully intended, my dear. Okay, I have a physical product that I'm going to sell in 2023. Nice. That's for me. I'll need some tricks and tools for that. Well, you've always got tons of tricks and tools. So, it's Shayna Melissa. Hey, Shayna. I think that the link is ecam.com/connect. I think you can try that one. It should be in the description of this video. All right, so who's ready to dig in? We've got the wonderful Lacey here too. Lacey's in the house. Always good to see you, Lacey. Thanks for dropping by today. All right, so we're going to dig in here 1 second, and I'm going to share a little bit with you about my personal story, and this includes my biggest blessing are my two boys. Now, they're not this little anymore. In fact, my youngest one, who's on the right there, is in his freshman year of college. He just finished his first semester. But these boys have been honestly my biggest blessing. We went through a very long period of a lot of sadness and difficulty with loved ones passing away, trying to come through different health crises, a lot of struggles. And these boys have just been so absolutely wonderful. I love them so much. But it wasn't always easy for us. At one point, their dad was sick for a very long time, and he did eventually pass away. But the growth that we went through was painful, and it was a struggle. And they both had parents that were entrepreneurs. I actually became an entrepreneur because of my husband. He was a full-fledged 100% way out there entrepreneur. I came from a corporate background, and he gave me the faith and strength to take that leap and start my own business. And even he gave me the faith and strength to even start amazing family. And these two little fellows, Guido and Antonio, are just such a blessing. And that is why I do what I do, coming out, working, trying to grow my business, is to be able to provide for my family. And I'm grateful that the Lord gave me the ability and talent to do some of the things that I'm doing, and it's for them. But I'm going to tell you, it wasn't always easy as an entrepreneur. I've tried a lot of different things. I used to produce a really large bridal show in mid-Michigan called My Big Fat Genesee Wedding. I owned a bridal boutique. I owned a flower shop. I produced a lot of really large events for corporations and nonprofits, including companies like United Way. I did Chevy's 100th anniversary celebration. I did a lot of consulting for Hurley Medical Center and Children's Hospital. We also provided, we'll call it upscale entertainment, like aerial performers, acrobats, things that aren't just like your standard cut dry entertainment. And it was an incredible run as an entrepreneur. I used to do segments on ABC 12 on Saturday and Sunday mornings. I did about 27 of those until my husband got just too sick, and it wasn't viable to do those early crazy mornings. But you can see, like, over here is one of the Lions. I did a lot of events for Lions, the Red Wings, local well-known musicians from Michigan, and on and on and on. I was very blessed, but life got crazy when my husband got sick, along with many other family members. I had to make adjustments to my schedule because I couldn't run the roads and go crazy with my time. I had to stay focused. So I ended up seizing the opportunity and launching a magazine called Kudos Magazine, which is focused on healthy, happy living. And even with that, you guys, I had to adjust my plan again because we had COVID. So we were doing a lot of these interviews with different sponsors and clients that we had. And unfortunately, we had the lockdown, so we had to shift again and then move into doing eventually what I'm doing now, which is live remote broadcast. But to tell you the truth, that was not my original goal, to come out and to do live video. My background included corporate events and marketing, and over time, I ended up evolving into what I'm doing now, which has been great. But I want you to get to this point where you really do know your goals, you know where you're at, and you also realize life happens. It's it's a living, breathing thing. It's called life. And sometimes our road is going to get shifted. But if you can have a general idea of the things that are important to you, what you value, and how you want to get there, you're going to make your life so much better. And I'm wishing you a much smoother path than some of the hiccups I had to go through. We're going to talk about some of that today too, where our business plan ties into more than just what we have on paper. And understanding this is key to you really being able to stick to your plan. Jacqueline wrote, all you've gone through, and you've added so much gold that streams through all that you're doing. Thank you. You know what? And we all have been through something. The older we get, the more that we go through and we experience and we grow and we become stronger. Super creative. You are my sister. And I am grateful you're my sister in Christ too, Jacqueline. You've been a blessing to my day many, many times. And I can't tell you how many times you've brought smiles my way. So I appreciate you abundantly, sincerely. So I've got a quick question though for you guys. I'd love to know, you showing up for this training, what was your purpose? Like, what are you hoping to get out of this training? If you're looking to just, get some quick cash flow, drop me a 1. If you feel like you're stuck and you need to grow your business, but you don't know what to do yet, drop me a 2. Or if you're growing, but you want more, maybe it's to improve your system so you're reducing your workload, drop me a 3. Or if you're just here because you want to learn and maybe you don't know exactly what your goal is, drop me a 4. Or maybe you're 1, 2, 3, 4. Maybe you're all of them. But I'd love to know. Tell me in the comments which one of these best describes you in your situation. Because there's different approaches that you can take on your business plan. And depending on what your goals are, it's going to impact what are the choices that you have to make. And being able to understand that is key. Now, before we get into the nitty-gritty of event planning, marketing, strategy, social media, and all of these little vital pieces to success, we've got to talk about this. A minute ago, I was talking to you about your inner circle of who you have around you. But we got to dig a little bit deeper. And I'm going to have an honesty chat some of you may or may not like, but I want to tell you, I'm sharing this from a place of love and because there's a lot of toxic things that happen online. And you need to understand this so you don't get caught into delusions and illusions. Does that sound good to you? Sounds good to me. All right. So one thing to step back and look at is, who are you following online and why are you following that person? Are you following them because they have a path to help you reach your goal? Or could they possibly be selling you an illusion? There's a lot of fake stuff going on online. And it's important for you to understand the environment that we're in today is significantly different than 20, 30 years ago. And you have to, right now especially, shield yourself from the noise and focus on what matters most. Whether this is you have a family and you're trying to get that up and going and safe, because you're going to have different people that are throwing things at you of these quick money schemes. You can make a gazillion dollars, or, these different ideals that maybe aren't realistic. Maybe you know it in your gut, but understand the character of the person who's spreading the message. Is it like a used car salesman, or is it somebody who's authentically invested into their client experience and to help them deliver? Right now, I've seen a lot of people that are, different coaches that are saying, watch me how I'm going to make my $5 million. But people aren't stepping back and realizing, oh, it's $5 million that they want to sell towards, their client, to have their clients buy. But the question really for you should be, what are you doing to help? What is that person doing helping their clients reach their goals, the client's goals, and not just the coach's goals? I mean, you can look at their track plan, but does it tie to your goals? Start taking information from people, but don't get caught into this loophole of buying more stuff that you don't need because somebody else says that they're going to make a gazillion dollars online. Yeah, they're going to make a gazillion off you. So you want to be mindful. Don't detach your critical thinking from actions that you're taking in your business you can easily get swindled into these ideas of things that aren't right, that really don't align with you, your purpose, why you're here. But it sounds good because it sounds like a gazillion dollars. Let's step back and start bringing common sense back into the equation and making sure that we're smart. Now, this is somebody, I don't know if you've been following the news at all. I try not to follow the news, but it's in your face, so you can't really help it. But how many have you have heard about Sam? Sam Bankman-Fried. He's the founder of FTX, and they just arrested him yesterday in the Bahamas. U.S. filed criminal charges. Now, this could be political because he was supposed to go in front of Congress and testify. But this is the bottom line. This dude right here took over $1 billion and lost it. And you say it really quick until you realize, whoa, that means that he literally destroyed lives of people that put all of their retirement and savings into his dream, into his dream. You've got to be careful. Who are you following online? Now, a lot of these different things that you're seeing online, some of it is legit. There's good people. There are people that are focused on goodness, but there's some corrupt people. And they look like, an ordinary person until they swindle all of your savings. So be mindful. Who are you following online? What are their goals that they're professing versus what are your goals? Do they correlate? Or is it just focused on one other thing? And the ironic part, Matt corrected me. I apologize. It wasn't 1 billion, $16 billion. It's insane. So you say that number really quickly, but go back and reflect on how many families were destroyed. So as you go into 2023, be ultra sensitive. Who are you following? What are their values? Do they have the same values as you? Do they talk about it? Are they in a totally different space? This is vital, you guys. And if you can stay focused and clear on what are your goals, where are you going? When you have people that come up with these used car salesman pitches, and it doesn't correlate with your values, it doesn't correlate with your goal, you're going to smell it out right away like a lion. You're going to know this isn't right. Something's wrong. But you got to be aware. And one of the other things is, this is where we're going to get into some nitty gritty, and I hope you guys stick with me. Just listen to what I'm going to say for the next 4 minutes, and I promise you, if you just reflect on it later, it can be helpful. I want you to be aware of distractions. Don't let the enemy destroy what God has promised you. Each of us, I truly believe, have a God-given gift that we're supposed to share with this world. We have talents. We have things that we're supposed to accomplish, but we can easily get distracted by other things that aren't meant to be in our life, other people that aren't meant to be in our life. And it takes time to be willing to say, hey, I'm willing to take a look at what do I really want versus what actions am I taking and who am I surrounding myself with to help me get there. Jacqueline wrote, I went through quite a few different types of challenges and learned what to do and what not to do. I've shut down to many now and only going back to 1 or 2, and you're growing and moving forward with it. Jacqueline, great big kudos to you. And we're going to talk about this part in a little bit too, because you can get so diluted into the learning and listening to 5 different people tell you how to make a homemade spaghetti sauce that's killer. You can't. You got to come up with a solid plan, but make sure that you're entrusting yourself to be around the right people that are going to help you so that this doesn't happen. You don't get distracted. And I'll tell you, it seems like before you know it, you can have something that comes up and gets you in the wrong spot. And this is the last thing I'm going to dive into, but I want you to think about this. Not that long ago, I was listening to another coach who's a kingdom coach, really well known throughout all of the land of kingdom entrepreneurs. And it was funny because he had said, I don't believe that everything has to deal with, like a tech glitch and it's something spiritual or whatever. I'm going to beg to differ. This is where you may love me or you may hate me, but I'm going to speak my truth because I've seen it. And I want you to remember this, for we do not wrestle against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against rulers, against darknesses of this age, against the spiritual hosts of wickedness in heavenly high places. And what the heck does that mean? It means that you have a specific thing that you're called to do in this lifetime. And yeah, there are things that happen, I believe, in the spiritual world that can distract us. That's why you've got to have the right game plan, the right people, the right values, the right things in place. So when that happens, you can smell it like a lion and still move forward towards your goals and not allow that wickedness to hold you up. And if you don't realize that this is the reality of, like, we've got like this world that we live in, but there's this other elements that is this spiritual component that's in life. And if you can recognize that, it can help you stay on task so that you're not stuck in a situation of, I didn't reach my goals because I got distracted. And you don't even know what you got distracted by. I want you to fight back, and I want you to know that. And one of the other things I want to say to you, because a lot of times, and this goes for even the law of attraction people and some of my sisters and brothers in Christ who will say, well, I'm going to just pray about it. I'm going to have faith that God's going to take care of it. Well, he tells us faith without works is dead. And what does that mean? It means come up with a game plan, pray, work, get it done. But you can't sit there and just think that by chance it's just going to work out. That's not real life. It's not. You're going to have things that hit you over the head, try to knock you down. You got to get up, know your goal. You got to be willing to work on it and not just say, hey, it'll get done. And why would I right now bring up all of this stuff about faith during a business plan session? Why would I talk about that? I'm going to tell you, in this journey called life, it's filled with struggles. And when you are an entrepreneur, you are going to taste struggles from all different parts of your life, your personal life, your business life, your dreams of what you want to have. Life happens. And sometimes life can serve you a great big knockout that can kick you on your ass where you feel like you can't get back up. And I'm going to tell you, I've been there. I did it. For those of you that have followed me for a while, we had 9 deaths in our immediate family in 2 years, aging from age 18 to 99. And it wasn't like just distant people. This was our immediate family, husbands, dads, uncles. It was horrible. It was an entire shift. And while watching it happen, I had to run a business. And at that point, my boys were little guys, you guys. Like when their dad died, they were 7 and 9. It was tough. It was hard. It was almost like where I didn't want to get back up. And if you make it through something, if you don't deal with all that junk, this is where you can get stuck. Lingering regret, anger, fear, guilt, sadness, resentment, bitterness, all that ugliness can weigh you down to make you say, forget my goals. I really don't give 2 squats. I'm going to just sit here and wither away. Whether it's self-pity or just pain, you've got to have tools that are going to help you through hard times in life. And if you haven't gone through some of these hard times, I hate to tell you, we all go through it. This might not be the pep talk that you wanted, but I'm giving you the real stuff so that when shit hits the fan, you have some tools so that you can pull through, still be successful with your business, and get to that sweet spot where you're in touch with that childlike spirit, where you're willing to say, I'm going to try that again. I'm going to explore new ideas, because they're not in that spot of that muscle memory of this is how we do it. They're still learning. They're adaptable. They're flexible. They're joyful. They may have a moment where they melt down into like a complete spaz out mode like a toddler, but their resilience brings them back up. They're willing to try. They're willing to trust. They're willing to not stay stuck in that negativity, pain, and suffering. This is something as adults we all need to learn again, especially when we go through hard times. And I'll tell you the truth, we could do an entire session on what we just talked about for really identifying as an entrepreneur, a business leader. There's multiple components that have an impact on whether or not we're even going to try to be successful. And that includes one element of being like heart-centered, where some of these things that decisions that you make in your life, it could be for your family. It could be for your kids, your spouse. You care about them. You love them. Your elderly parents, your community that you love. Those are vital things that can empower you or hold you back. And then even with mindset, going back to what we were talking about a minute ago, when you go through a hard time, you can get stuck in this mindset of negativity and dread and bondage and wickedness. Those are things that you can also flip on a positive side to say, I'm going to be empowered. I'm going to be motivated. I have a crisp, fresh mindset, and I'm willing to try new things. Now, those two things we could talk about extensively, but I see a lot of people, including myself, where we do talk about that. But one of the key things where the sweet spot is that can allow you to start generating income online is the third one, which is a skill set focus. Because these are the things that can help you take action and move that needle forward so that you're able to finally start growing. You're able to finally start creating an environment where your goals and dreams are possible. And I don't want to diminish the importance of the heart and mindset. In fact, most often, those are the two things that will hold most people back from reaching their goals. Whether it's a business goal or maybe you have a health goal of trying to lose weight or get fit, that heart-centered part in the mindset, if they're not properly managed, they can leave you stuck for an entire lifetime. And it's something you've got to work on regularly. But for today, we're going to focus a little bit on the skill set. One of the things that I really want to prompt you to do is move beyond just thinking about it, feeling it. I want you to start taking action, not thinking about it, doing it. Boom. I'm going to do it. Boom. But you got to have everything lined up and to be willing to say, let's go. And this is one of the other things right here when it comes to 2023 and anything with your business that you've got to keep front and center in your head is timing and tempo, along with taking a leap of faith so that you can actually launch this success plan. And your timing and tempo, it could be, you may want to start a new business, but maybe you're dealing with a health crisis yourself or your family. Sometimes you have to hold out a little bit. You got to wait till the tempo's right so you can jump in. But eventually, if you want to do it, you got to move beyond excuses and take that leap of faith. But understanding, is your spouse on board with this? Being an entrepreneur, you need to have your family on board with what it is that you're doing. What are your goals? And you need to be respectful of that. And understanding your personal life is key to your success in your business life. There might be times that you have to put more dedication into one. That's okay. But you've got to understand this before you move forward. And one of the other things for timing that we've got to talk about is you've got to start defining timelines and perimeters for projects and tasks. This is one of the spots where I see so many entrepreneurs and business owners drop the ball because they don't put timelines or parameters on how long a project should work on. I unfortunately I had a dear friend, actually a couple of friends that I've seen this happen to, but one specifically was getting ready to launch. It was going to be a magazine that was focused on, the arts and entertainment. And she's an amazing writer, very gifted, well embraced in the community, had done writing for a nationally well-known newspaper. The problem was she connected with a potential partner and they brainstormed and they mapped out ideas and they had just notepads filled with all of these great ideas for 4 years. And they never did anything. They stayed in the dream building phase of this is what we can do. But they never took action. I have another friend who worked on a business logo for about 6 months. 6 months. Sometimes you got to say, good enough. And then there's other times where attention to details matter. If you are a multi-million-dollar, billion-dollar company, yeah, at that point, you hire a professional graphic designer and they get the logo done. But you should not be planning your business goals to include a 6-month timeline for designing a logo. You should not be brainstorming for 4 years about this idea, yet never taking one action to bring it to life. That's a waste of your God-given gifts that you're given. And oftentimes it's because of that mindset and the heart and the mindset focus that we talked about a minute ago. They never overcome that. So they get stuck. Got something in my eye. They get stuck in this season of dreaming about it, dreaming about it, dreaming about it. Dreams are freaking beautiful, but you got to act. You got to take action. You got to have that game plan. And it's possible to be able to get there, but you got to be willing to do it. And this is something that most corporations do, where they're planning, they have a business plan. And usually they have an entire department or at least a few dedicated people focused on mapping out their business plan. And this may even include things like a product roadmap. I don't know if you've ever heard of this, but I want to show this to you really quick. Let me see if I can zoom this in. Nope, this is about as good as I can get it for now. This is Apple from 2014 to 2019. I just grabbed it from offline. You can see they have all of these different products mapped out. They've got timelines for when they're going to promote, what they're going to do. They have goals. And I can tell you in each of these little sections, each of these little boxes, there's probably about 1 million different tasks associated with each of these milestones. If they're doing this, there's probably a reason why they're investing this much money, staff, resources, is because it helps them keep their eye on what are their goals. Are they short of their goals? Can they improve their goal range for the next time? This is how you become more efficient. This is how you become more powerful. You've got to measure your information. You got to know where you're at. Now, this is one thing that I see with a lot of people online where they don't really have we'll call it a flagship product or service. Do you know, who knows what a flagship product or service is? Anybody know? Does anybody know what that is? It's basically your main go-to product that you're selling. So if you were going to, let's say, a ice cream shop, their main flagship thing that they're selling is ice cream. But you might be able to buy ice cream cakes, you might be able to buy a soda, you might be able to buy, different things, little candles, but their flagship product that they're selling is ice cream. And so often entrepreneurs like you and I don't have that main, like, it's a constant product that's for sale or available. This is something you need to work on and should be your first priority for 2023. If you don't have a flagship offer, something that's constantly available for you to always be selling, you need to get this in place, because this is going to be your golden ticket to generating sales. We don't want to just have an idea. We want to plan out an amazing experience for your business. But you've got to have these things in place. Your basic product, is it there? It could be, let's say that you did coaching. It could be a course that you have available that focuses in on one niche. Maybe like for my case, it's events. I've done a lot of stuff with online and in-person events. I could have an awesome flagship course that somebody could buy on Evergreen. It could be a book. It could be, you got to define what is your flagship offer that you're going after. And I want to share this with you. Here are 6 keys for success for your marketing. And if you follow these, it's going to help you stay on track and to keep building. Number 1, this is where we're getting in the nitty gritty, you guys. I want you to start looking at, starting with 2023, your yearly goals, and start to map this out and look at it yearly, quarterly, monthly, and then here's the big one, you guys. You ready? Daily. You got to look at it daily, because you can start to get distracted really quickly and find yourself consumed with tasks that have nothing to do with your flagship offer, your goal, or your vision. And one thing that you can do is, when we were talking about breaking it out into quarterly, is start looking at your year in quarters or months where you can run special promos. So I typically try to do a training once a month online, but then we come back and we do some quarterly promos and specials. So start to look at that. And kind of like if you look at Home Depot, typically, they've got different seasonal sales that they have going on. In the wintertime, you're going to find snow shovels everywhere. In spring and summer, you're going to find shovels for landscaping. And they might have promotions that are tied into, hey, come get your spring blooms, or come get your winter salt and stack up, because they're selling it based on season, based on what's logical for their business. And this is key. And even if you look in the newspapers and you start to watch car dealerships, I don't know if you know this, like right now, we're December, we're coming to the end of the year. You're going to see a lot of different car dealerships that are going to have promotions for end of year, yada, 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 because they got to get those cars off the lots. And this year will be, I think, extremely interesting because of the shortage of chips that we had, electronic chips, for the past couple of years. But start paying attention in the newspapers. You'll see, like, they'll have like summer special, or they might have buy a car for your loved one, or end of model blowout sale. They have this all mapped out. They're not doing it a week before it goes to print. They know a year in advance or longer of what's going to be promoted, how it's going to be promoted, and then they make adjustments accordingly. You've got to start doing that with your business too. And this is the other thing, key, super, super key. Take note. You've got to start scheduling it. If you don't have these things marked on your calendar of a quarterly event or promotion or something that you need to do, it's not going to get done. You're going to get distracted by so many other things in life that happen that you're going to leave it by the wayside. You have got to get to that point that your goal becomes a priority and it's showing up on your calendar, not just in your head or in a brainstorming journal book that you picked out. No, you got to schedule it. And this is the thing right here. When it comes to scheduling this stuff and building out your actual marketing plan, you guys, breaking it into this quarterly focus. This is something we're going to talk about for a little bit here. It's not just, oh, my quarter, I'm going to just get this done. No, I want you to take a step a little bit deeper this time around and start looking at each quarter. How can you map out these 4 areas of focus? And these 4 areas of focus are pillars for your success, you guys. So, for instance, you could have an opportunity to do a promotion or some sort of sale every quarter. It could be a challenge, an online challenge. It could be a special discount offer. It could be whatever it is, it's promoting your business. So, working on that every single month. And additionally, leveling up your skill sets, because skills that you had 20 years ago, although they may be wonderful addition, they're not going to be enough with where things are going digitally. But you can't allow yourself to get stuck in this system of constantly learning and not doing anything with it. Number one, it's very time consuming. It can be helpful, but if you're constantly doing trainings and you're not putting in the work, it's not going to work. You're not going to be able to get to that goal. We want to change that. And even looking at things within your business structure of things that you may need to do to change to reach your success. That could be things like bringing in additional staff. It could be finding, a bookkeeper. It could be, setting up a studio online. But again, even with the structure, you do so much in each given quarter, but you've got to focus on the goal and not get consumed into that. And then even things like software systems that you can use to help you escalate things to the next level. So this is something I want you to do is on a piece of paper. You can either take a screenshot of this or on a piece of paper, I want you to draw a vertical line and a horizontal line intersecting. And each one of those boxes, I want you to map out quarter 1, 2, 3, 4. All right. Now, this may feel redundant. You might feel like, oh, is that worth it? I'm going to tell you what, it's worth it because it's going to allow you each and every single day to go back and look at, are my actions I'm taking today correlating with my goals and objectives for quarter 1, for quarter 2? You don't want to be in quarter 1 and you're starting to work on stuff in quarter 4, but you haven't even set up quarter 1 right. You've got to take these small little management tools to help you stay on task. So going back into what we just covered a minute ago, each quarter having a sale or promo, each quarter focusing on leveling up one skill set, each quarter trying to find ways that you can improve your business structure, each quarter looking at our systems, operating systems, software, etc., working in your business, or do you need to make changes? Not getting stuck in, I'm going to keep paying $297 a month for a software that is not delivering results. Do you need to change? What adjustments do you need? Instead of waiting until you've gone through 1 year and then you've discovered all of a sudden, holy moly, I spent $5,000 on software and I didn't get any sales. You got to look and you got to measure. And when you start to do this consistently, it allows you to see, am I on track? Just like your GPS, if you have it set to go to a destination and you blow past that exit, you need to know, whoa, wait a minute. I went past that exit 3 miles back. I need to turn around. I need to adjust. Or you might even see, nope, I don't get off on the next exit for 10 miles. And you're able to stay course and stay focused instead of wasting your energy and just skedaddling to whatever pops up in front of you. We don't want that. So if you can use this simple little sheet, it can help you get focused and maintain focus as you're going through. Now, this is where the work parts come in. You ready? Who's ready for some of the things that will actually help you? Who's ready? I'm ready. I want to know. So, your daily power task list are things that you should be doing every single day that generate results. This is not administrative work. This is not, I'm doing my housework. This is not meeting and planning and daydreaming. It is none of that. Those are the things that are going to keep you stuck in a rut where you have no ability to finally even get to your goal because you're still stuck on some BS project that isn't going to serve you. No, I don't want that for you. But if you don't have this in place, your goals and your map out, you're going to be exhausted at the end of the day and say, oh gosh, it was a busy day. I went to training and I did the laundry and I met with my team about a logo that we're going to use and we brainstormed 20 ideas for 4 years. That shit's not going to pay the bills. If this is a hobby, bravo. You go ahead, have fun. Very constructive, very positive. But if you want to start making money, you got to start shifting what you're doing, how you're doing it, so it can really lead to success. So this is one of the things that I really want you to embrace for 2023 is start looking at a minimum of 5 income producing activities of things that are going to help you level up your business. And some of these things could look like 3 hours of prospect calling, direct messaging, phone calls, on-site visits, connecting with people, sales role, and it's still marketing, but doing those things to connect. It could be a power hour, could be recording your video or doing a live stream. This is the thing though, not just doing I did a video, snap, snap, that's great. What was the video doing that tied to a call to action that was correlated with your goals? Meaning at the end of that video, are you saying, go check out my website and sign up for my free lead magnet, sign up for my free course, sign up for my da-da-da-da-da? That task of that video that correlates to your goal. And for it to correlate, you've got to do a call to action. What website are you sending them to? Do you have their email? Have you connected with them? Have you gotten that prospect on a list to be a potential client? Or is it a random drive-by that they saw your video for 2 minutes, but nothing came of it? You can't do that. Why do I have 3 sad emoji faces? I don't know what happened. I don't know. Why are you crying? Don't cry. Don't be sad. Okay. So also the other thing is for daily power, some of the things that you can do is follow up with your leads. Did somebody engage in your content online and you just like hit the like button? Or did you go back and follow them? Find out more about them. Start profiling your leads, meaning looking at that prospect to understand what problems are they facing with your business? How can your products, goods, or service, how can your business help them overcome that? Are you really understanding that these are people and not just a digital image of somebody? These are real life, breathing human beings that need your help. But are you understanding them, or are you just thinking in your own space? You got to get out of your space. You got to get out of your group, your page, and start going over to other areas where you can connect with those people and hear their side of the story. Don't just spit information out. Go back and understand, who are you talking to? What problems are they facing? What objections are they seeing in their business? How can you help them overcome that? And going back, this is another thing. This is key. I want you guys to listen to me really quick here, please. studying your industry market data. And as you get to know me, you're going to find out I'm actually a pretty analytical person. I'm a little bit of a tech nerd, but I like understanding my market. I like understanding the unspoken thing that sometimes we can see, but we can't really articulate, but numbers can see it. You can see it. And that's the powerful thing about when you get into statistics of being able to take measurements of what's working, what's not, what are industry leaders reporting. And when I say this, study industry market data, I am not talking about scrolling through your Facebook, Instagram feed to look at more crap. I'm not. I'm talking about going and looking at, what are different polls, Social Media Examiner, they're constantly releasing different information about what's working, what's not, why. You need to understand that part because when you start scrolling under that news feed, you're getting stuck into this mode of now you're the consumer instead of starting to understand your consumer, your client. So start embracing research from a marketing perspective, not just sitting in a class of somebody like myself telling you different information. Start seeking out different sources that can help you because those little clues are going to tell you where the market's going. Just like, for instance, shorts are hot. We understand that not just by people that are saying it, but looking at different measurables, different things that people are reporting that are statistically proven. It's one of the things that I won't get into it too much, but like with politics, it's funny because they'll say, oh, this, they'll randomly say, everything's great. But, when you go and you look at the market data, it's like, no, it's things are shifting. Can't be in denial. You got to know truth. You got to back it up with truth. So this is the next thing, you guys. We can talk about planning all this stuff out. I can tell you about your power daily tasks of what you need to do. I can tell you about awesome systems that have been a game changer for me. But this is one of the things that you really should consider starting to look at, staff and support that can help you focus on your areas of strength and areas that maybe you're a little bit weak that you need help with. I saw somebody recently saying, don't hire a video editor, do it yourself. Yeah, you can, but maybe you're not tech savvy and you're going to have to spend 6 months learning this when you could be doing sales calls and hiring somebody to help you. See how that doesn't make sense? There's a time and a place for you to grab these skill sets that you need. But if you're going to be stuck, remember that graphic I showed you, quarter 1, 2, 3, and 4? If you're stuck in quarter 1, still trying to level up that skill set for video, and you're all the way to quarter 4, would it have been worth it for you to hire somebody else? Peter Drucker is a famous economist who, I don't know if you've read any of his books or anything. I was exposed to it during college. I learned a lot. But one of the things he talks about is if you have a task and you can have someone else do it and they can do it at the efficiency of where you would do it at like 80% of where your efficiency's at, that is a good case for you to have someone else do that task, train them a little bit so they get that personalized approach that you want them to have with the task at hand. But you've got to let some stuff go. Bring the right people in so you can do tasks that only you can do. There's only so many hours in a given day. You've got to find out how can you maximize your time and what could be done. So for instance, if you're doing, let's say, graphics for all your social media content, and that's taking you 10 hours a week, maybe when you're first starting up, but if you want to get to the growth phase, eventually you've got to find, well, maybe I can outsource my graphic design, and those 10 hours a week or a month, I'm going to rededicate that towards those daily power tasks that we talked about of being able to make phone calls, go meet a client, go above and beyond, test out something that is extraordinary that only you could test out. You've got to maximize your time and then still those daily tasks. Find somebody else that can help you. Now, it might look different. It could be at first, maybe you have somebody in your family that's helping you create some of these pieces. Maybe you have a kid, a nephew, a neighbor kid, or maybe you have somebody in your business inner circle that you can barter with. Like, hey, you do this piece for me and I'll do this piece for you, helping each other build each other up. Or you just hire somebody. There's a lot of different options to do it, but I suggest that you take the time and you hire the right people. You can get all sorts of different price points. Just remember, different price points come with different levels of service and experience, but you got to find the one that's going to be a perfect fit for you and your goals so that you can stay on task. All right, so where are you putting all your time? Like I said, this is super important to understand. These little activities can add up so fast where you're stuck in one day and you're like, I didn't get anything done. I didn't get any sales. Well, did you spend all your time like editing a video or trying to do awesome graphic images that maybe you could have outsourced and you could have done 3 hours worth of phone calls instead of 3 hours screwing around on your computer? And even with the training, I mean, like right now, we're a little over an hour into this training, and I appreciate your time, you guys. And I hope this stuff serves you. But this is the thing. You can go overboard with the training. You can. Let me know. Have you been there where you wake up and you're like, oh my gosh, it's like a college degree without the college credits of time that I've invested. And these things are important, but you've got to limit it because you've got to stay focused on what is your goal each quarter. Going back to that grid that we did just a little while ago, staying focused each quarter. So your circle of success let me get out of there. Your circle of success, a lot of things are going to impact it, including run with a pack that's focused on the same goals, the same values as you. Align yourself with people who are willing to grow with you. You might be small right now, but you might not be small in a year or 2 years. Everything has an accumulative effect. When you're adding up these skills, you're adding up these experiences, they compound. So just know, as you are today, you're going to grow and be a different person a year from now. Surround yourself with people that are willing to grow with you. And also, don't dim your light for anyone else. Don't do it. God has a plan for you. You know your value. You know in your heart the things that you're supposed to be doing. And you need to maintain that vision of where you want to go. How are you going to get there? Who's coming with you? So what do you want your team to look like next year? Do you have anybody that's working with you right now? I'd love to know if you have like mini team, no team, your solo team. I go back and forth. I bring in different people to come in and work with me, different freelancers, especially since, everything we went through the past couple of years. I had to make some major adjustments, and it turned out to be smart, understanding where I was at and where I wanted to go. But I would love to know from you, what does your team look like? What tasks do you have? Shayna wrote Team Liz. Yeah, I'm glad that we're working together, Shayna. You've been a riot. But Shayna had a little incident not that long ago where she was training somebody, but she kept having to do the work. So it wasn't a good fit for her. And sometimes you got to delegate out. And sometimes you got to adjust it, where you might find, oh, this person has this awesome skill set, but not so much in this. It's just about managing, understanding, and adjusting. Jacqueline wrote, husband and 3 daughters. Awesome. That's good. You got to keep discussing it. I'm trying to get my boys into it a little bit. Um, they've started getting into my oldest one into the metaverse. So, maybe in a year he's going to be teaching me that because we're all learning, still learning. But this is something I really want you to think about after you're done with this session. What does your team look like right now? And what do you want it to look like next year? Would it be helpful if you brought in one admin, one person to help you do video edits or create your blog post or work on your funnel? You can only do so much. You can only do so much in a given time, but if you can bring on another set of hands, you'll get there faster. So, one thing I want to offer you is a chance to schedule a free consultation with me to look at different ways that I might be able to help you, whether it's with your social media marketing, video streaming, editing, funnel building, strategy, and so many other things that come up. And if that's something that you're interested in, I just encourage you to drop consult in the comments, or you can send me a direct message and I'll get you set up for a complimentary consultation, zero cost to you. It's just a discovery call to look at issues you're facing and maybe what you can do to fix it. So we're gonna push forward a little bit faster, you guys, because we're already an hour and 10 minutes into this. And I do appreciate all of you so much. Oh, look it, hold on one second. No, I'll have to fix it in a minute. Okay, so systems in place. This is the whole bottom line. You can go onto autopilot with your business. And hold on one second, you guys. I got to fix this. I got a spammer. Oops, shit. I didn't mean to put that up there. Sorry, guys. I've got a spammer on YouTube. I got to figure out how to get that off there. All right. Okay. Looks like we'll have to go back to it. All right. So, Jacqueline, I see consult. I'll reach out to you later. I'll see you in VIP too. And we'll talk about some fun stuff for this upcoming year. Okay. So let work, the flow naturally is a game changer. And it could be things like your funnels, your email sequence, all of that. But tying into that, you have to have the connectivity to these systems along with consistency. So understanding where your market's going, that's why I was telling you that market research is important, is going to have some guidance on helping you get connected with the right systems. And it's also going to help you guide every single day on choosing what actions you're taking so that you can be productive and focused on your goals. So, social media management, for instance, there are these awesome softwares out there that can help you, like Hootsuite. I started using Post Planner a while ago. I've liked it. But I suggest, if you want to get out there, get all your social content. I'll call it filler content, or it could be quotes or, sharing some of your blog posts from the past. Start looking at scheduling that up to 30 days out. The only reason why I say 30 days is because changes happen. The world around us changes and you got to make some adjustments, and that's all right. But if you've, got all your social media mapped out for a year, it's more difficult to make those custom posts and content. So keep it about 30 days out for pre-scheduling those and getting your social media into constant flow where there's no gaps. Some other things too could include staying continually connected with your client. I don't know how many of you are gathering emails. Are you generating some sort of campaign to gather emails, whether through a lead magnet or an event or something like that? I'd love to know if you're doing that daily, weekly, or monthly. You should be doing it at minimum monthly. But there's even things that you could do to have it sort of naturally in place where you have a lead magnet available on your profile page or in your group, stuff like that. But this goes back to what I was talking about earlier, having the right systems in place. So one of the things I did this past year is I switched to Groove Funnels, and I love it, you guys. And I will say, in part, I love it because of the cost savings. It was significant. It was huge. I was literally paying out thousands of dollars a month. Thousands of dollars a month. I say it backwards too. Seriously. And that's why, like, measuring this stuff and paying attention, I love ClickFunnels. I think Russell's awesome, but the $297 a month plus, you got to get Active Campaign, you got to get your email service, and you got to get all these other things that fed into it. It was just financially kicking my rear. I couldn't do it anymore. And then Groove Funnels had this thing that popped up for lifetime membership. It was under $2,000. I ended up getting everything that I needed for housing my emails. That was the big one that got me, because I had a huge email list and I was paying a monthly fee every single month. It was devastating. Wasn't worth it. So when I started looking at crunching numbers, doing some research, I identified I had a major screw up in the way that I was operating my business online and spending too much money on software that wasn't generating results. And sometimes when you're first starting off, you've got to look at, where I'm at today is not where I'll be a year from now, but do I need the software that I don't need for a year from now? Or can I start off with a free software or another version that I can level up as income is coming in? You got to look at these things. And the other thing is looking at your numbers of, like long term, if you're using something for a month versus over the course of a year. Sometimes when you prepay, you can get a 20, 30, 40% discount. So measuring, evaluating what's working, ditching what needs to go. And you should be doing this every single quarter. Going back to that little grid that we talked about. Every quarter, do you need to make some adjustments? And having things like your lead magnet available at all times, like a freebie. It could be a PDF. It doesn't have to be a 40-page PDF. It could be a one-page PDF that shows shortcuts for healthier, happy living during the holiday season. It could be 4 shortcuts to produce videos faster and more polished. Lead magnet. Somebody says, yeah, I want that. And then they're willing to enter their email, grow your email list. And the other one is having that flagship offer. What is one product, good, or service you're constantly selling, aside from the promotions that you're doing every single week or month or quarter, right? So understanding that is important. This is one of the other things, and I think that we all see it. We just all see it, is short format video. It's hot. It's sizzling. It is smoking hot. And a lot of it has to do with attention spans are low and they're shrinking by the day. I was just in one training or something. It was a while ago, and the guy was saying, forget the 1-minute video. I'm going down to 5 to 10 seconds. It was his goal. That's what he's going to do for 2023. He's going to start doing clips of 5 to 10 seconds. That's not that much time. You can say a lot in 10 seconds, but not really. But it reminds me of going back to the old days with sometimes we would do these radio promos, and it would be, anything over a certain amount of seconds, like the price goes up immediately. So you learn, like, say it quickly. That's why if you ever listen to like one of those medical things and they'll give the disclaimer at the end and they're like, you can't even understand what the heck they're saying, because they're speaking so fast on the symptoms and bad stuff of that product. It's because, you're paying more for that time allowed. So now it's interesting. We're getting back into that super short format, 5 to 10 seconds. And that could be something that you challenge yourself to say, okay, I've been doing these long streams or a 5, 10 minute video. Let me see if once a day I can do a 5 second video that I just record and upload. Check it out. See what's working, measuring it. Okay. Also, and this is a key part, is looking at where the market's going, what's working, what's not. So short format videos for sales, for promos, for your branding. There's so many different ways that you can use short format video, but play around, see what's working, what's not. And this is where you can get in touch with your inner child a little bit and just tinker around to see what's working. But you've got to measure it. This is the key. This is the key right here. Front finger. Right here. You got to measure it. Because if you're not measuring it, you're not going to have any idea what's working. So track your data. That way you're able to see where you're at, because what gets measured can be improved. But you can't improve anything if you don't even know where you're at. You've got to know, this is my goal. This is where we ended up. I need to make these adjustments accordingly. And also understanding what went well and what went wrong. So right now would be a good time for you to start to go back and look at 2022, this past year, and breaking it out into quarters of like, what did you do the first, second, third, and fourth quarter of this year? What went well? What didn't? And what do you have to adjust? And this can be the key for you being able to create that little square box that we were talking about for yourself for 2023, because you're going to know this didn't work, but these things did. I'm going to double down on the tasks that did work so I can increase my conversion and connect at a higher level with all of these people that I want for my clients, right? Also, prospecting. How many leads are you prospecting? Are you just throwing up content online and you don't even really know who you're prospecting? You're just hoping that randomly the right person's going to come by? Are you measuring the interactions that you're getting? And are you really looking at, okay, how many people were you able to connect with in reality versus what was your goal? Did you hope to connect with 5 people to talk to on a conference call, but you only talked to 2? And also, this is another thing, you guys, it's super key. We can easily get into these situations where we're like, oh, I tried, I made my phone calls, I did my 5. Yeah, but how quick were you to just give up? Like, did the person tell you, oh no, I don't want it, and then you just say give up and move on? I love this old story that I still do. Zig Ziglar, he's not with us anymore, but I just loved him. He's such a good storyteller. And he had that sweet Southern accent, just makes everything a little bit sweeter going down. And he shared this story. I'll paraphrase it. And it was when he first started selling pots and pans, and he was going door to door to door. And he went to this old farmer's house to try to sell him some pots and pans. And then the old farmer was like, I don't want any of your pots and pans, Zig, get out of here. And Zig Ziglar just left, and he went on his way and went to the next house. Well, this was a small town, so it came back to Zig that farmer man was mad, fit as a fiddle with Zig. And he was like, why is he mad at me? I didn't want to pressure him to whatever. And they said, because that farmer said he wanted to buy those darn pots and pans, but you didn't even try to sell him. He said no. You said okay, and he said goodbye. So Zig talked about how he started understanding with humans, there's like this dance that you do. He went back to the farmer to, try to sell him those pots and pans, and he gave him a mouthful. You didn't even try. You just thought you're going to make that sale or make nothing. It was insulted by you, Zig. He was mad. So after that, Zig started taking a different approach and realizing that, sometimes when people say no, they want to say yes, but they want you to sell them. They want to be convinced I don't know if you can hear my cat out there. He's meowing away. So he's not hurt. He's just spoiled. So I want you to keep that in mind though for your sales calls. How quick are you giving in? Are you just saying, "Oh, no, that's not it?" Or are you following up and understanding what are the needs of that prospect? What are they facing that you can help them solve? What pain point are you going to take away from them? What joy are you going to bring to them? But you got to understand that sometimes selling takes more than just one phone call. You got to be willing to dig in and not just give up. Realize that sometimes the answer for a client is no, not now, right? And there's a big difference. So don't give up. And this is one of the other things, super huge, you guys. For your sales to increase, I want you to start looking at what level of quality sales lead are you bringing in? Are you bringing in prospects that are going to be interested in the things that you're selling or the things that you can help them fix? If you're trying to sell something to somebody that they have no interest in or they don't value, so they're not going to invest in it, you're likely on the wrong path and you need to make some adjustments. So I want you to start looking at who are the quality type sales leads that you're attracting and how are you bringing them in so that they are already motivated to go through your sales process because they need what you have to help them. Is super important. And also tracking your data, understanding. One of my first things that I did at Ford is I started designing databases. This is going back like many, many years ago. Wow, like almost 30 years ago. But one of the things that I discovered was these little finite numbers can show a big picture at the end of the year when you keep collecting this data. So start tracking your data. One thing I give most of my clients pretty regularly is called a prospecting sheet. And it's a really simple Excel sheet that allows you to track all of your different prospects, including their social media profile pages, different places where you can find more information about them, and even simple little spots to put in, when did I call them? When did I email them? When did I go visit them in person? You can get into some of the sophisticated software like Salesforce, but starting off, just start off with an Excel sheet. Start having a goal. I'm going to reach out to 5 prospects every day. It should actually be more like 20 prospects a day if you want to fast track and really grow your company. But if not, you can get stuck into this loophole of doing nonsense tasks that aren't going to be productive, that aren't going to add to getting to your goal of being able to actually say, holy moly, I brought in new sales. I worked with intent. I worked with focus today. And now I'm starting to see the results, right? But if you're not measuring it, you're not going to know it. You're going to be guessing, throwing random spaghetti on the wall. You're going to throw spaghetti on the wall. You better make sure it's cooked and ready to go. And you got enough to feed everybody up. So start looking at ways to measure, even if it's starting with a basic Excel sheet, and have dead set goals of every day I'm going to call 10 prospects or 20 or whatever it's going to take you. Look at how many you actually did versus what was your goal. And then the next day, try to get better. And one of the other things that all of us should be looking at are our social media metrics. It could be things like, how many views did you get? That's okay. But really, you want to find out about the engagement. You want to find out about the duration that those people are watching. Start looking at some of the demographics of the people that are coming through and they're a part of your audience. Understanding them through the metrics that are available on social media can be a complete game changer, because you may be attracting the right people or maybe not, but you won't know if you're not looking. Take off the blindfold. Quit being afraid. Quit being a little bit freaking lazy. Grab the damn Excel sheet. Start mapping it out. Today, I'm going to contact 5 people with a direct message. I'm going to make 20 phone calls. I'm going to go visit 10 people in person. Set your goal and do it. Write it down. Do it. This right here, you guys, what I'm telling you is the game changer between doing it and not doing it. And life is going to give you a lot of interruptions, so you can come up with a lot of excuses. You don't even have to try. Life's going to give you all kinds of excuses. Get focused, write it down, measure it. You'll be happy you did. And this is one of the other things too that I do want to say to you is strategic marketing. It has everything to do with what you're doing to support your goals. And your goals could be sales growth. But sometimes, like for instance, in the game of chess, there's something that's called a gambit. And how many of you know what a gambit is? How many of you know what a gambit is? A gambit is when we have a short-term loss for a big gain in the future. You see a lot of big businesses that will use this strategy. And we can do the same thing in our own small business too. So an entrepreneur might do something like, I'm doing a free giveaway, a $5,000 package. And you know what? It might cost them money to give away that giveaway. But that short-term loss could lead to infinity of leads and opportunities. And you don't do this just at random. Everything is strategic. And like when you're doing these gambits, you have a game plan. You know what your long-term goal is and how you are going to take daily action to get there. So that gambit actually becomes a win. So you're sacrificing a pawn so that that queen can take out the king or the bishop or the whatever. But you've got to think ahead 3 or 4 steps so you know what you're doing and you can turn it around to something prosperous. I love that. I love that. It feels so good. It feels so good. And these are things that you can be doing too, but you've got to shift your vision. Like, what is my goal? What are tools that I have? How can I adjust those tools or modify so that I can experience great success? So ultimately, your actions, hold on a second. Your actions are intentional and thought out with everything that you're doing with your marketing. You're not just randomly doing something each day. It's thought out. You know what you're going to do tomorrow when you wake up. And one of the things I want to suggest to you is instead of allowing all of these God-given talents that you have to just become diluted, this upcoming year, I want you to pick 3 areas that you want to become super incredibly amazing at with that skill set. And I want you to focus on cultivating that skill, growing it, nurturing it, helping it level up to something above and beyond anything you could expect. And while you're doing that, though, this is the thing. I want you to remember your daily hot list. That's where the money's at. So you can build these skill sets, but you've got to work on that daily hot list. Otherwise, nothing will come of it. And there's so many different forms of marketing, you guys. This is like glimpse, interviews, webinars, ads, podcasts, conferences, product demos, teasers, vlogs, newsletters, presentation snippets, audiograms, on and on and on. And the same thing with my business. I had to make some major readjustments and focus so that I could have success. When things were locking down and shifting, I had to change. I couldn't keep doing 50 million things. And in fact, even before the lockdown, I had to go through this readjustment where I started discovering where I was generating more money was with the consulting for Fortune 500 companies and nonprofits. So I started cutting out different things, like the bridal boutique. I closed that down. I didn't really enjoy it. And a lot of things, it wasn't generating what I wanted. The bridal show, that's a different story. That's a different nightmare. But I had to readjust my thoughts, my actions, and really zoom in on where are the money makers? What do I have to do to take my business to the next level? And I did. And you can do that too. But some of the things come down to you determining each quarter what's your skill set that you're going to work on. And this is just an example of many. But I would like it if you literally look at this list, take a screenshot, and pick three. Pick three for this upcoming quarter, or four for the whole year, actually. What do you want to work on? You've got to start doing these different things that are task related, but having it really focused. Sheena said VIPs wants to steal you for the Zoom. Yeah, we're going to start the Zoom as soon as we get done here. We've got just a few more slides, Shayna, and then we're going to go over into the Zoom section for VIPs, and then we're going to really dig into some nitty gritty stuff. All right, so take a screenshot of this. You can real quick. Pick four of them that you want to focus on for this upcoming year, okay? And you're going to have a million gazillion people try to get you to do other things. Pick your four. Stick to it. Stay in your lane. Stay focused. And then going back into this part, the strategic marketing and action, it works best when you have support staff and a team. And it could look like so many different things when you come up with your strategic marketing plan. It could be you running ads. It could be you increasing your content creation. But remember, education and training programs are readily available. Just don't get stuck there. You've got to take action. You've got to dig in. And this is another key part. With strategic marketing, there's so many different platforms. So Facebook groups, pages, reels, LinkedIn, YouTube Shorts, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, podcast, Rumble. And I actually have something I want to say for almost every single one of these, but I'm not going to take a lot of your time here. But what I would like you to do is focus on three, just three. A word of caution that I'm going to share with you is TikTok right now. And I do have 2 TikTok pages. I probably really shouldn't, but I do. And there's a lot of stuff that's coming up with politics and scrutiny from our government in the United States on this. So this may be something that you don't want to invest your time in, or maybe you do, but you just realize don't put all your eggs in it because they're poking a bear. So you got to remember that. Also, Instagram, a lot of big shifts happening with you guys because they are moving to video. And that's why I want to say to you, get video into your marketing strategy ASAP. Super important. There's ways that you can do video just like right now. I'm talking to you. You can't see my face. So there's no excuse for being camera shy. You've got to dig in and you've got to say, hey, it's time. Or when you want to pop up, you can pop up too, but no more excuses. And it doesn't have to be hard. It can be focused on sharing your story and then learning and being willing to grow over time. It's not something that happens instantly in a drop of a hat. This is a long-term marathon, so remember that. And then even getting into some of the things for details, there's so many spots that you can get stuck. This is just to name a few. And it can be exciting, but we've got to make sure we don't get stuck here. And instead we jump in and we really start getting into the action and not just planning. So done for you services can make your life so much easier so that you can focus on what you do best. And I do just want to offer, if you're ready to go to this next level in this upcoming year, if you reference Blueprint, since you made it all the way through this training, you can save $500 off any package valued over $1,000. So that could look like support for producing your next upcoming live event, having a live remote producer. It could be having video editing done, having your graphics design done, having a press release kit made, having on and on and on. So many different spots that you can take your eyes off of, have me and my team come in, swoop in like a superstar so that you can grow your business and not get stuck with the daily monotonous work that you don't need to do. So I do want to thank you guys so very much for coming out and sharing your time with me. Let me come over here. I feel really fortunate. And I hope that you guys know your time is honestly one of your most precious assets. And the fact that you came and sat here with me for over an hour, I appreciate you. I'm rooting for you to be successful. I hope that you take everything that I shared with you today to heart, and you remember you have a God-given gift within you. Don't get caught in the smoke and mirrors and illusion. Define what is your goal, what is your dream, what is your vision, what do you want to accomplish, and then start taking action along with this solid game plan so that you can be truly successful and experience real freedom. I'm wishing that for you, and so much abundance and blessings to all of you. All right, that's all that I have for you today. If you got something out of this, maybe you could tell a friend. If you want to set up a free consultation with me, drop it in the comments, consult, or send me a direct message. I'm an open book. I'll get back to you right away, and we can have a lot of fun creating something amazing for 2023. All right, VIPs, I'm going to see you over in the Zoom room. Give me 5 minutes. I'm going to go get something to drink really quick, and we'll be there at 6:45. All right, in the meantime, you guys, keep dreaming big, be good, be happy, and most definitely, you guys, be blessed. We'll see ya. Bye.
Honey, I got what you want. Give me all of your love, 'cause it's burning hot. It's what you do to me, babe, I can guarantee. Honey, I got what you need. Yeah, under the night sky, I want